Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I'm going to show you the best legendary grenades in Borderlands 4. Also, I'll show you the easiest place to farm them so you can get them as soon as possible. Make sure to keep watching until the end because I'm saving the most powerful grenade for last. Subscribe to the channel and let's go. Okay, this is the BLOCKBUSTER grenade and it's essentially multiple grenades in one. So I'm going to show you how it works. All you have to do is throw this thing and it splits into grenades, and those split into grenades, and those split into grenades, and they all explode. You'll notice they also bounce as well, so that covers an even larger area. And as you can see, it's a lot of fun against the squishier enemies and the mobs. That's because it has a huge area of effect, so you can just throw this and all of those grenades are going to bounce and go all over the place and target different enemies. It doesn't actually have any homing or specific targets, but just because it covers a wide area, you're always going to hit your target no matter where they are. Just check out all those bouncing grenades. There is one thing you have to watch out for. Do not get in the way of the blast radius because these grenades are kind of erratic, and if you get in the way you will take damage, so just watch out for that. But that's why I'm putting it here on this list and not the last, because we are getting even more effective and even more powerful grenades as we go on in this video. And there are a lot of different modifiers you can have on the BLOCKBUSTER. So this is the ancient BLOCKBUSTER, but you can also roll a legendary BLOCKBUSTER with, say, a nuke power, and that has a even bigger area of effect. So it's definitely worth farming the BLOCKBUSTER just to see what type of BLOCKBUSTER you can get, and I will show you exactly where to farm this. And there are a few places, but this is the easiest place to farm this thing in the whole game because there are dedicated drops. So the place you want to go to farm the BLOCKBUSTER is at the boss Vile Lictor. Now Vile Lictor is in Windspear in the Umbral Foundry Fortress. And this is quite a tough boss, but to get there, you're going to have to do a mission first. This is called his Vile Sanctum. So that's one of the main story missions. So when you come to that, you do that one, and then you're going to encounter Vile Lictor. And just keep grinding away on Vile Lictor, and he will drop at some point a BLOCKBUSTER legendary grenade. And it could be the one that I've got, or it could be a different one with different modifiers. And different clusters of grenades. You can have even more than what you see here. All you have to do, keep farming Vile Lictor. This is the legendary fuse grenade, and what this does is improves on the BLOCKBUSTER in my opinion because it has ricochet effects. Now with the ricochet effect, the artillery projectiles will bounce off of enemies and ricochet towards other nearby enemies. It's also got grenade damage, which is increased by 21%, which is huge. And not only that, but it has the status effect, the elemental effect, which is cryo damage. So this does 150% cryo damage. And as you can see, much like the BLOCKBUSTER, it actually has multiple grenades every time you throw it. So you launch this one and you're going to get a few grenades, and they're just going to spring up and then start rotating on the spot and just dealing cryo damage to all the enemies around them, which is a really, really cool effect. So not only is this damaging, but it's also just a nice effect you're going to have along in the battlefield. It will straight up turn enemies to ice, and then you can run along and hit them, and the ice is just going to shatter. I like throwing these in crowds of enemies just because they're going to be spraying out all this cryo damage, and multiple enemies are therefore going to be totally frozen in place. So that's good, but I'm going to show you where to get it if this sounds like the kind of thing that you want. So in order to get the fuse legendary grenade, what you want to do is go to Drill a Hole. This is the name of the boss, and this is located in Queen's Cradle, so on the west side of the map. And you can just use the Mox's big encore machine to keep repeatedly farming Drill a Hole, and eventually you will get a legendary fuse grenade. You will have to do a few missions in order to unlock Drill a Hole, but it's not too far into the story. So the mission before you get to Drill a Hole is called Unpaid Tab. So as long as you've done this in Carcadia Burn, you can get to Drill a Hole and farm this boss. And luckily it's not as hard as the previous boss, Violictor, from this video. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and then just keep farming this boss for the legendary fuse. And like before, the legendary fuse can drop in the world, so it can be a world drop, so you don't have to go to drill a hole, but this is the most likely place you will encounter the fuse grenade. And that's just not based on my experience, but other players have reported that drill a hole is the best boss for the fuse grenades. So yeah, that's what you want to do. Go to the Encore machine, purchase the repeated boss farm, and then you can keep running back and repeatedly getting a higher chance of getting the fuse grenade. Next up in the video, an even more powerful grenade. This is the legendary swarm grenade. What this does is erupt into a swarm of projectiles and home in on enemies. So I'm going to show you how it works. You throw this, and as you can see, all of these little projectiles erupt and then target any enemy in the vicinity. And it's really, really good. Look at all those projectiles floating around. And what I really like to use this for is the airborne enemies. So if you encounter flying enemies, you can knock these straight out of the sky with a swarm of swarm grenades, and it's really, really good for crowd control, not only in the air but on the ground as well. But they're just effective, most effective against airborne enemies. And what you can also do is combine this with the fireworks shield. So you're just letting these swarm grenades do the job while you run around, and also the fireworks from your fireworks shield are also coming out and doing damage to enemies as well. You can see those white kind of sparky fireworks there. And everything's just kind of working automatically while you use your guns and enter combat that way. So just lob it down anywhere, and yeah, you're going to be doing some damage against enemies. Another really good quality of the swarm grenade is its knockback and its stun. So sometimes you'll throw this and enemies will get knocked back, and they'll also get stunned, which sort of staggers them, and you can use that time to do more damage. So that's another functionality of the swarm grenade. Not only does it do quite high damage, but it also has that effect as well. Now honestly, it's not the highest damaging grenade, so it can't really compete numbers game with the absolute best grenades in this game, but just look at how much fun it is to use firstly, and also that stagger and that stun effect, and also how it deals with airborne enemies, and just the fact that it can do this automatically and damage enemies while you're also doubling up the damage with your guns. It just makes the swarm grenade a ton of fun and just very effective to use as well. So effective that some players even make sure to grind this every 5 to 10 levels. So every time they level up, let's say 5 ranks, they'll try and get this swarm grenade again, just so it's even more powerful. And that's something you can do when you go and farm this from this location. So this is the Sydney Pointy Legs fight, and this is located right here. So quite early on in the map, you can go ahead and go to Sydney Pointy Legs, which is a drill site. So all you have to do is take out a few of the enemies, maybe for about 30 seconds, and after about 30 seconds of taking out the minions, then Mr. Pointy Legs will emerge. And this is a really unique boss. It's basically a huge head on some mechanized legs, but it's pretty standard stuff. He's got the health bar, take him out, and then the second health bar comes out, and then just keep plugging away. And you will eventually get a legendary swarm grenade, and it might have the effects that I've shown you just now, or it might have a whole bunch of different effects. But this is the guy who drops the legendary swarm grenade with the most regularity. So a really useful grenade to have, and as I say, a ton of fun to use. And what's really good about the drill sites is there's always a Moxie's Encore machine straight out the gate, so go ahead and use that. This is the waterfall grenade, and I've been using this a whole lot in Borderlands 4. It's absolutely insane. What this does is cause additional explosions when damaging targets, and that's just the start. This also has artillery payload, so it fires bullets around the grenade, and this deals over 2,000 damage. It has the Maglock Augment, which homes in on nearby enemies, and it also has Overflow, so the maximum grenade charge is increased by 1. So this is what it looks like. As you throw this, a bunch of bullets start emerging out of the grenade, so not only does it explode, it also fires off bullets. It's essentially a grenade combined with a gun, and due to that green glowing effect, it's really easy to see in the thick of the action. So this is the waterfall, and yeah, can totally just take out enemies in one go based on the impact alone, but it also just keeps bouncing in place, firing off bullets in all directions. So no matter what you're going up against, the waterfall is a really great grenade to have. And this is just one type of waterfall. So the name of this waterfall is the fully loaded relentless waterfall, and that is a legendary. However, there's a different type of waterfall with different modifiers, and that actually functions completely differently than this one. So it just goes to show you the versatility of the waterfall grenade. So I'm going to show you another waterfall. This is called the Concussive Festive Waterfall. And what this does, it has the MIRV payload effect. So this spawns 4 MIRV grenades on exploding. It's also got the rubberized augment, so the MIRV grenades bounce up to 5 times before exploding. And what that looks like is this. So it's kind of got that green effect as the previous waterfall, but also when you throw this, you'll notice how different they are, because the grenades just bounce along and taking out everything in their path. In order to get either of these waterfalls, and I definitely recommend trying them both and seeing if you can get them both, you want to go to this location. And this location is the Bio Bulkhead. So that's the Bio Bulkhead boss, and they're located in Synthetic Nave, which is in the Dissected Plateau province, and this is in the Fade Fields. So this is right here, and you're going to encounter this in one of the early missions. I think it's the 4th mission in the campaign, so it's impossible to actually miss. But once you've done that, you can go and rinse and farm that boss. The mission's actually called One Fell Swoop, so when you do that, you'll encounter the Bio Bulkhead. But as I say, there is a Moxie's Encore machine right outside, so you can keep farming the boss over and over. This is the legendary Jelly Grenade, and a lot of players are loving this grenade in Borderlands 4. So what this does is, firstly, it's a self-replicating grenade, which means you're not only throwing one grenade, you are throwing a bunch of them. Also, it has the Express modifier, so grenade cooldown duration is reduced by 21%. Finally, it has the Ripper modification, so grenades teleport to their destination. And teleportation is a lot better than just throwing them, because how fast can you get there? Instantly with teleportation. Now, what I really like is the jelly effect. This is why it's called a jelly grenade, because it bounces, and you can use this to really aim your shots. So if you throw this at an angled wall, it's going to bounce off the wall at the angle you think it will. If you throw this at, say, a ceiling, it's going to bounce off the ceiling, hit the ground, and just bounce all over the place. So yeah, you can use that to your advantage if you're good with the angles. I don't know if you've played pool, but yeah, just imagine it's like an explosive game of pool. As you can see as well, it does function a lot better in interiors or kind of cramped confines rather than out in the open. So just make sure there's a lot of walls for this thing to bounce off, and you will be in a good place. Now, the place you want to get the jelly grenade from, there's only really one place that players are farming. The highest chance is going to be at Splash Zone. So make sure to go to the boss Splash Zone and keep farming this guy, and he will eventually drop a legendary jelly grenade. The other reason Splash Zone is really recommended to farm the jelly grenade is that Splash Zone drops a second legendary item. So there's a high chance of Splash Zone also dropping the Fireworks Shield. And the fireworks shield is something I mentioned earlier, but that's a shield where every time you take damage and one segment of your shield goes away, then fireworks will emerge from your back essentially and go after enemies and do damage that way. But anyway, those were my favorite legendary grenades in Borderlands 4. Let me know what legendary grenades you're using in Borderlands 4 and also where you found them. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel.